All right, everybody, back with you again today. Just wanted to touch on another subject here. Something I've done videos on before, and something I keep watching because I keep waiting for the Democrats. I'm talking about the people at the head of the Democratic Party to uh, come to their senses and to start, you know, moving towards repairing the damage that they have in their party and getting a handle on what has been happening. But they seem to be throwing all their eggs into this one basket, which is to get behind this campaign to destroy Trump, to limit his ability to act as president. But in the process of doing that, they're making a tremendous error, and it's one that they may not be able to recover from. Certainly not anytime soon. You know, we've been watching since the beginning of the primary with the really radical elements of the Democratic Party. And both parties have radical elements, but sometimes they get, you know, way out of control, and that's what we see happening on the Democratic side. You know, a lot of these people who are drawing the most attention to themselves, who are getting the most ink, who are getting the most attention, are the most radical elements of the left, and these people are pure anti-capitalist. Many of them are communists. They're not even just anti-establishment or populist or what have you. Certainly, Bernie Sanders was able to inspire a lot of these people. And I'm not suggesting that all these Bernie Sanders supporters are part of that extreme radical element, because they're not. But there is a significant portion of the Democratic base right now, whether it's 15%, 20%, 25%, I don't know. But it's a significant element. And they're the ones that are getting all the media attention. They're the ones that are what we see when we look at videos, when we look at news reports or read news reports. These are the people that are getting the ink. And they're very damaging to the Democratic Party. Right now, it seems that the Democratic Party leadership seems to be almost endorsing these people. They're certainly not doing what you would expect that they would do. I mean, you would expect, if you were the leadership in one of these parties, regardless of which party it is, if you saw the really radical element of your party out there behaving as these people are, engaging in violence and calling for the murder of police officers, calling for the murder of Donald Trump, all the things that they're doing. I mean, these are some fairly radical elements. You would think that the Democratic leadership would be disassociating themselves from these people, and in fact even speaking to these people to let them know that they're way over the top. And you wouldn't think that they would be getting the sort of help that they're getting from big donors and people like George Soros, who are certainly behind them. There's money behind these people. Lots and lots of money is being invested into this radical group. And if you're in the Democratic Party, I have friends who are Democrats, and I know, as a lot of conservatives, Republicans, libertarians, you know, we like to cast all these Democrats in the same light. But the fact of the matter is, there are many people who are Democrats who are not anti-capitalist, pro-communist, radical, who wish to see an assassination of a president, or wish to go out and cause violence and destroy private property and things like this. This is not your average Democrat. Your average Democrat is not that radical. I know. I have many Democratic friends, and none of them are part of this element. But you know, the Democratic Party leadership is not trying to calm these people down. They're not disassociating themselves with these people. And now that you see these 14 or however many it is Democratic members of Congress who are not going to attend the inauguration, well, that's fine. You always have a few of those people, but they are associating themselves with these extreme radical groups, and I believe that this is going to really hurt them, because, as I said, there are normal, rational, reasonable, everyday Democrats who are looking at this and they think it's ugly. they are more and more looking at this and saying, man, I don't know if I want to be a part of this party. I mean, these people who are doing these things don't represent what I think. Yes, I wished Hillary would have won, but she didn't. Donald Trump won. But it's time to move forward, and we'll try to win the next time around. But the election's over. These are what the rational Democrats are thinking. And you have to remember also that there's a lot of independents out there. In fact, I think that the largest voting bloc now is independents. And those are people who on election day can go either way. Sometimes they vote Republican, sometimes they vote Democrat. And if you want to win an election, you need these independents, whether you're Republican or Democrat. And as you can see, a lot of these independents supported Bernie, not Hillary. And these really radical elements, they didn't go away when Bernie Sanders went away. They're still there. And of course, we know these radical elements were used by the Clinton campaign and the DNC to cause problems in the Sanders campaign. They have also been used, as has been revealed by Project Veritas, how they plan to engage in various sorts of somewhat criminal activities, creating riots, starting fights, creating problems at the Democratic and Republican conventions. So these are not just people who are party loyalists who are a little upset about losing the election. These are people who Democrats who don't even like the Democratic Party, apparently, because they're doing great harm to the Democratic Party. Because, like I said, these normal Democrats and independents who the Democrats need to vote for them to win elections are watching the behavior of this radical fringe element who associates himself with the Democratic Party. They're watching the behavior of these people, and I can tell you right now, there's a lot of Democrats, a lot of independents who are sitting back and watching this, and they're thinking, man, these people are just ugly. This whole thing is ugly. I don't want to be associated with a party that endorses or allows this radical element of their party to take them over, or to cast them in such a light. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the party. And quite honestly, I'm very surprised that the Democratic leadership has come out and tried to rein these people in. At least ways you would expect for the heads of the party, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, whoever. You would expect these people to come out and make a speech and say, okay, we know you're upset about losing the election. We're upset we lost too. But all this stuff that's going on about talking about assassinating Trump, all these efforts to try to incite violence and cause property damage and to cause upheaval, these are not part of our democratic process, and these types of things do not represent what our party stands for. But again, this is not what we're seeing coming from the Democratic leadership. They're not really saying too much, and it may have a lot to do with the same people who give them a lot of money are also funding, bankrolling these radical elements of the party. So we'll just have to wait and see how this all pans out. But if I were a betting man, I would be betting that a lot of these Democrats and independents who are watching this are not very happy with it, and very likely you could see a lot of these people disassociate themselves from a party that allows these radical elements to behave the way that they are and not call them out. So it's going to be very interesting to watch and see how this plays itself out. I think it's for the Democratic Party, I think some of them being opportunists that they are, I think that anything that they see that could disrupt Trump, that could cause problems, that could create chaos, any of these things they perceive now as being good for them. But I don't think that they are thinking this through and thinking clearly on this issue, because maybe they're not paying attention, but certainly many people like myself and others, I mean, if you have any connection at all to social media, or if you talk to people throughout the course of your day, it's hard to not know that these people are out there, that they're talking about and doing the things that they're doing. It's right in front of your face. It's right here. You can't miss it. But maybe these people that live in Washington, the Democratic hierarchy, maybe they're from their ivory towers. Maybe they don't watch TV. Maybe they don't pay attention to social media. Maybe they're surrounded by a bunch of yes men. Maybe they just don't pay any attention at all. I don't know. I have no explanation for why a major political party would allow itself to be tarnished and stained this way, knowing good and well that elections happen every 2 years, congressional elections. So, I mean, generally the day after one election, they start preparing for the next one. So if this is their preparation for the midterm elections or for even the presidential elections in 2020, I would have to say that their strategy is a very poor strategy, and I believe it's going to cost them dearly in 2 years and again in 2020 if they continue down this road. We'll just have to watch and see how they act. But right now, I think there's still a lot of confusion, and I think they maybe just don't know what to do at this point. I think they're grabbing on to anything to try to hold on. So we'll see. It's going to become very interesting as the days and weeks move forward. We'll just watch it and observe it all together and try to figure out as we go what it is that we're looking at and where we're headed. All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all be good.